question often arises regarding the compatibility of appliances on a single electrical circuit. Specifically, can a 1/2 horsepower garbage disposal, rated at 6.9 amps, share a 15 amp circuit with a 22-watt sink light? The answer is yes, and the following analysis explains why. The key to determining whether multiple devices can safely operate on the same circuit lies in calculating the total amperage drawn by all devices and comparing it to the circuit's amperage capacity. In this scenario, the garbage disposal consumes 6.9 amps. To determine the amperage draw of the 22-watt sink light, we must use the formula amps equals watts divided by volts. Assuming a standard voltage of 110 volts, the sink light draws 22 watts divided by 110 volts, which equals 0.2 amps. Now, the total amperage on the circuit is the sum of the garbage disposal's amperage and the sink light's amperage. This is calculated as 6.9 amps plus 0.2 amps, resulting in a total of 7.1 amps. The circuit in question is rated for 15 amps. This means that the circuit can safely handle up to 15 amps of electrical current. Comparing the total amperage draw, which is 7.1 amps, to the circuit capacity of 15 amps, it's clear that the total draw is significantly less than the circuit's capacity. Therefore, it is considered safe to have both the garbage disposal and the sink light in the same 15 amp circuit. However, it is crucial to consider certain important factors. Firstly, ensure that all wiring and connections are properly sized and installed in accordance with local and national electrical code. Improper wiring or loose connections can lead to overheating and potentially create a fire hazard. Secondly, remember that this calculation only accounts for the garbage disposal and the sink light. If additional appliances or devices are connected to the same circuit, the total amperage draw must be recalculated to ensure it does not exceed the 15 amp circuit capacity. Exceeding the circuit capacity can overload the circuit breaker, causing it to trip and interrupt power. Repeatedly tripping the circuit breaker can be a sign of an overloaded circuit, and it should be addressed promptly by a qualified electrician. Thirdly, consider the potential for future expansion. If there are plans to add more devices to the circuit in the future, it may be prudent to install a dedicated circuit for the garbage disposal or the sink light. This will help to ensure that the circuit is not overloaded in the future. Furthermore, it is worth noting that the National Electrical Code, or NEC, provides guidelines for the maximum allowable load on a circuit. While the NEC doesn't specifically prohibit connecting a garbage disposal and a sink light to the same circuit, it does require that the total load on the circuit not exceed 80% of the circuit's rating. In the case of a 15 amp circuit, the maximum allowable load is 12 amps. In this case, the total amperage draw of 7.1 amps is well below the 12 amp limit. In summary, connecting a 1/2 horsepower garbage disposal, rated at 6.9 amps, and a 22-watt sink light to the same 15 amp circuit is generally considered safe, provided that the wiring and connections are properly sized and installed, the total amperage draw does not exceed the circuit capacity, and all applicable electrical codes are followed. It is always recommended to consult with a qualified electrician if there are any doubts or concerns about electrical safety. Remember, electrical work can be dangerous, and it is always best to err on the side of caution. Proper planning and careful execution are essential to ensure the safety and reliability of the electrical system. Consider the situation with other amperages as well and different wattage. Let's consider a scenario where you have a 3/4 horsepower garbage disposal that draws 9 amps and a 40-watt light fixture on the same 20 amp circuit. First, calculate the amperage of the light. The amperage of the light is equal to the power or the wattage divided by the voltage. So it is 40 watts divided by 110 volts, which equals about 0.36 amps. Then add the garbage disposal and the light amperage together. 9 amps for the garbage disposal plus 0.36 amps for the light is 9.36 amps. This combined value is less than the 20 amp rating of the circuit, meaning this is generally considered acceptable and safe. Again, keep in mind to observe all electrical codes and ensure that the wire gauge for the circuit is adequately sized. Finally, in another theoretical scenario, let's look at a 1 horsepower garbage disposal that is rated for 12 amps along with a 100 watt light on a 15 amp circuit. First, determine the amperage draw of the light. The light amperage is equal to 100 watts divided by 110 volts, which equals 0.91 amps. Then add the amperage together. 12 amps plus 0.91 amps is 12.91 amps in total. 12.91 amps is less than 15 amps. Therefore, it is safe for this example. However, in some electrical codes, they recommend that you do not exceed 80% of the breaker capacity, which in this case would be 12 amps. 80% to 15 is 12. This means in this theoretical scenario it is potentially unsafe and you should not proceed and consult an electrician. Additionally, you should always ensure proper wire gauge for the circuit. For example, a 15 amp circuit typically uses 14 American wire gauge or AUG copper wire, while a 20 amp circuit typically uses 12 AWG copper wire. Using the wrong wire gauge can lead to overheating and potentially cause a fire. Furthermore, all connections should be tight and secure to prevent arcing and overheating. Loose connections can create resistance, which generates heat and can damage the wiring and the devices connected to the circuit. It is also important to consider the type of circuit breaker being used. Standard circuit breakers are designed to trip when the current exceeds the breaker's rating. However, there are also ground fault circuit interrupters, or GFCIs, which are designed to protect against electrical shock. GFCIs are typically required in bathrooms, kitchens, and other areas where there is a risk of water exposure. Using the correct type of circuit breaker is essential for electrical safety. Finally, it is always a good idea to have a qualified electrician inspect the electrical system periodically to ensure that it is in good working order. An electrician can identify potential problems before they become serious and can make recommendations for improving the safety and efficiency of the electrical system. In summary, understanding the principles of electrical circuits and following electrical codes is essential for ensuring the safety and reliability of the electrical system. By calculating the total amperage draw of all devices connected to a circuit using the correct wire gauge and circuit breakers and consulting with a qualified electrician when necessary, you can help to prevent electrical hazards and ensure that the electrical system operates safely and efficiently. Let's delve deeper into the electrical concepts and codes that govern the safe operation of electrical circuits, particularly in the context of household appliances like garbage disposals and lighting fixtures. We'll explore the National Electrical Code, or NEC, its relevance, and how it guides electrical installations. The NEC is a comprehensive set of standards and guidelines that govern the safe installation of electrical wiring and equipment in the United States. It is developed and updated every 3 years by the National Fire Protection Association, or NFPA. The NEC is not a law itself, but it is widely adopted by state and local jurisdictions, making it the de facto standard for electrical installations. The NEC covers a wide range of topics, including wiring methods, overcurrent protection, grounding, and equipment installation. It provides detailed requirements for the size and type of conductors, the rating of circuit breakers and fuses, and the proper installation of electrical boxes and devices. One of the key principles of the NEC is to protect people and property from electrical hazards. This is achieved through a combination of requirements designed to prevent electrical shock, fire, and other dangers. For example, the NEC requires that all electrical circuits be properly grounded to provide a safe path for fault current to flow back to the source. This helps to prevent electrical shock by ensuring that metal parts of appliances and equipment are at the same potential as the earth. The NEC also requires that all electrical circuits be protected by overcurrent devices, such as circuit breakers or fuses. These devices are designed to interrupt the flow of current if it exceeds the circuit's rating. This helps to prevent overheating and fire by limiting the amount of current that can flow through the wiring. In addition to these general requirements, the NEC also includes specific requirements for certain types of equipment and installation. For example, there are specific requirements for wiring in wet locations such as bathrooms and kitchens. These requirements are designed to prevent electrical shock by ensuring that wiring and devices are properly protected from moisture. The NEC also includes requirements for the installation of appliances, such as garbage disposals and lighting fixtures. These requirements are designed to ensure that appliances are properly connected to the electrical system and that they operate safely. When it comes to garbage disposals, the NEC requires that they be connected to a dedicated circuit. This means that the garbage disposal should not share a circuit with other appliances or lighting fixtures. This requirement is intended to prevent overloading the circuit and causing the circuit breaker to trip. The NEC also requires that garbage disposals be grounded to provide a safe path for fault current to flow back to the source. This helps to prevent electrical shock by ensuring that the metal parts of the garbage disposal are at the same potential as the earth. For lighting fixtures, the NEC includes requirements for the type of wiring, the size of the conductors, and the type of electrical box. It also includes requirements for the installation of dimmers and other control devices. The NEC requires that all lighting fixtures be properly grounded to provide a safe path for fault current to flow back to the source. This helps to prevent electrical shock by ensuring that the metal parts of the lighting fixture are at the same potential as the earth. When planning an electrical installation, it is important to consult the NEC to ensure that all requirements are met. The NEC can be a complex document, so it is often helpful to consult with a qualified electrician who is familiar with the code. An electrician can help you to determine the correct wiring methods, the appropriate size conductors, and the proper installation techniques to ensure that the electrical installation is safe and compliant with the NEC. In addition to the NEC, there may also be local electrical codes that apply to electrical installations. These codes may be more stringent than the NEC, so it is important to check with the local building department to determine the specific requirements that apply in your area. Compliance with the NEC and local electrical codes is essential for ensuring the safety and reliability of electrical installations. Failure to comply with these codes can result in fines, delays, and even legal liability. It is always best to err on the side of caution and consult with a qualified electrician to ensure that all electrical work is performed safely and in accordance with applicable codes. Let's explore some more specific examples of how the NEC applies to electrical installations in residential settings. We will focus on branch circuits, which are the circuits that supply power to individual outlets, lighting fixtures, and appliances. The NEC defines a branch circuit as the circuit conductors between the final overcurrent device protecting the circuit and the outlet or outlets. There are several types of branch circuits, including general-purpose circuits, appliance circuits, and individual branch circuits. General-purpose circuits are used to supply power to a variety of outlets and lighting fixtures throughout the home. They are typically rated for 15 amps or 20 amps and are used to power general household loads such as lamps, televisions, and small appliances. Appliance circuits are used to supply power to specific appliances such as refrigerators, washing machines, and dishwashers. These circuits are typically rated for 20 amps or 30 amps and are dedicated to powering a single appliance. Individual branch circuits are used to supply power to a single outlet or appliance. These circuits are typically rated for 15 amps, 20 amps, 30 amps, or 50 amps and are used to power large appliances such as electric ranges, electric dryers, and air conditioners. The NEC includes specific requirements for the number and type of branch circuits that are required in a home. For example, the NEC requires that there be at least two 20-amp small appliance branch circuits in the kitchen to serve countertop outlets. These circuits are intended to provide adequate power for the use of multiple small appliances at the same time. The NEC also requires that there be at least one 20-amp laundry branch circuit to serve the laundry area. This circuit is intended to provide adequate power for the operation of a washing machine and a dryer. In addition to these specific requirements, the NEC also includes general requirements for the spacing of outlets along walls and countertops. The NEC requires that outlets be spaced no more than 12 feet apart along walls and no more than 2 feet apart along countertops. This is intended to ensure that outlets are readily accessible and that extension cords are not used excessively. When planning the electrical system for a home, it is important to consider the anticipated load on each branch circuit. The NEC requires that the total load on a branch circuit not exceed 80% of the circuit's rating. This is intended to prevent overloading the circuit and causing the circuit breaker to trip. To calculate the load on a branch circuit, you must add up the wattage of all the devices that will be connected to the circuit. The wattage of a device is typically marked on the device itself or in the owner's manual. Once you have calculated the total wattage, you can convert it to amperage by dividing the wattage by the voltage of the circuit. For example, if you have a 1200 watt hairdryer and a 600 watt lamp connected to a 120 volt circuit, the total wattage is 1800 watts. To convert this to amperage, you would divide 1800 watts by 120 volts, which equals 15 amps. In this case, the load in the circuit is 15 amps, which is less than the 80% limit for a 20 amp circuit. When wiring a branch circuit, it is important to use the correct size wire. The NEC specifies the minimum wire size that is allowed for each circuit rating. For example, a 15 amp circuit typically requires 14 American wire gauge or AUG copper wire, while a 20 amp circuit typically requires 12 AWG copper wire. Using the wrong size wire can lead to overheating and potentially cause a fire. It is also important to use the correct type of wire for the application. For example, non-metallic sheath cable or NM cable is commonly used for wiring branch circuits in dry locations, while underground feeder or UF cable is used for wiring branch circuits in wet locations. Finally, it is important to properly terminate all wiring connections. Loose or corroded connections can create resistance, which generates heat and can damage the wiring and the devices connected to the circuit. All wiring connections should be tight and secure. In addition to these basic requirements, the NEC also includes specific requirements for certain types of branch circuits. For example, there are specific requirements for branch circuits that serve bathrooms, kitchens, and other areas where there is a risk of water exposure. These requirements are designed to prevent electrical shock by ensuring that wiring and devices are properly protected from moisture. Understanding the NEC requirements for branch circuits is essential for ensuring the safety and reliability of electrical installations. By following these requirements, you can help to prevent electrical hazards and ensure that the electrical system operates safely and efficiently.